This is a special episode of Fundamentals where we break it all down and we talk about Wicked. You ready to jump into this?
I am so fucking ready.
Oh my
I'm
god!
so ready. So, we got to go see Wicked, and it's something that I have been waiting years for. I got the cup.
I love that.
I got, yeah, so you can see like it's got the little like emblems, and it's pink and green, for Elphaba and Glinda or Galinda.
And what your drinks like color theme too, like with the pink and
Yes.
green?
Yeah, so the original ones that came for the Regal ones, they were like one was a Jameson whiskey and the other one was Malibu rum.
Mm.
So we were like, absolutely not. We didn't want either one of those, so we both got
Mm.
margaritas in them. And we're like, so I asked the bartender, I was like, hey, can I just get the cups? Like, how much is just the cups? And he's like, we're not selling the cups separately. I was like, oh, so
Mm.
it's still like the $25.
Woo.
And he's like, yep. And I was like, okay, cool. So, can you just make any drink and put it in that cup? And I still paid the $25. And he's just like, I got you. And I was like, hell
Yeah.
yeah. So he made so I got like a salted watermelon
Mm.
margarita. And Kristen, my friend that I went to go see it with, she got a mango pineapple margarita or something like that, or peach
Nice.
and mango jalapeno margarita. I don't remember. But he made sure that he took the time to make sure that the colors were right. And
Oh,
he made
nice.
mine pink and he made hers definitely green, by putting some like melon, like the liqueur in
Yeah.
it. So like it definitely had the tinges of the right colors to it. And we made sure we tipped him very well for like making sure that we got those pictures, which were good. So the first thing that we got to see was that we got the premiere in London, and we actually got to see that the original people that played Golinda and Elphaba were there at the premiere, and I thought that
Mm.
was like so cute. I was like, oh my God, that's so nice of them that they came, to show their support. We saw that it got a 99% on the audience score and a 92% for our critics. But now we have spoilers because we have seen it, and we are going to talk about it. So I'm gonna briefly ish kind of go through like how the movie played out. And then we'll talk kind of like one on one on how we feel
Heck
about
yeah.
certain things that happened.
I'm so ready for
Um,
this.
so just so all of you know, all of our fans know, I actually did see the Broadway when it was in Florida. I went to
Mm.
the Adrian Arch Center. It's kind of like in South Florida. It's in South, like it's in kind of Miami is like the area where it
Okay.
is. So I got to actually see the Broadway play 10 years ago, and I've been
Oh
obsessing
wow.
about it ever
I didn't know it was that
since.
long ago.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
10 years. It was before I joined the military.
And then I
So,
have not ever seen the Broadway musical, so
yes. All right, so here we go. All right, so it kind of begins where you get to see Elphaba's hat in a pool of water, and you kind of are like, oh, like what's going on? And then it cuts to Glinda in Munchkin Land, and they're talking about "No One Mourns the Wicked" is the song that they're playing in it, and they're singing in it, and they have the giant witch come out, and then they set it on fire. Then someone comes out of the crowd and was like, Glinda, is it true that Elphaba was your friend? And she's like, it's true that our paths did cross at school. And then you have the Hallowed Halls of Shiz that starts playing. And she's also talking about the fact right before like that starts playing is like, is someone always truly wicked, or is wickedness uh surely like simply thrusted upon them or something
right,
like that.
right.
It's words. Because you hear all of that, and then it cuts to her saying she had a mother and a father, like so many of us did. And they had their own secrets. And you got to see that the mother truly despise this mayor of Munchkinland or whoever he was.
Mm.
Had an affair with this mystery man. If you
With
know
the
the
green
Broadway, you
bottle.
know. Yes, the green elixir, if you
Right.
will, because that's the exact words in the song, the green elixir. Have another drink of green elixir is the exact words of the song. And we don't get to see who this man is, but this is presumably Elphaba's dad. And then Elphaba is born, and we see that she's green. Nobody wants to see her, and they say the father says simply just take it away. And then it cuts back to Glinda saying like, so as it so happens, truly like no one mourns the wicked. Um, so then after that happens, then you get to see Nessa Rose, which is her sister in the wheelchair,
Mhm.
because she had, you'll hear it later on that she, like, the mom didn't want to, the dad wanted to make sure that the mom, Elphaba's mom, didn't have another green baby, so had her drink like milk of the poppy or something like
Mhm.
that. And it made the baby come out too early. And then she had all of her health defects because of that. Then we get to Shiz, and Elphaba ends up staying with her sister out of the request of the dad. Um, Things kind of start to take off because everyone doesn't like the fact that Elphaba's green. And that's when Elphaba shows her magical ability, and the professor is just like, "Oh, you're staying," because we got work to do. Um, so then you kind of get to see like how it all plays out. Linda wanted to
In the moment.
kind of yes, she wanted to show face to like the
Mhm.
professor, so she was like, she thought she was doing something else of like volunteering as like a student, but she
Mhm.
actually volunteered her own private suite that she had to Elphaba. You got to see them doing the "What Is This Feeling?" the loathing song.
Mhm.
And the side by side montage was just, oh, it was so good because like when you see the Broadway, you don't get to that side by side montage.
Right.
Then you find out that the animals are really going through it, and that this is also when Fiero comes off of a ginormous horse and just kind of like pole vaults himself like off the horse. Um, he does the dancing through life, and you have that whole montage. Then you see Bach and Nessa kind of get together because Gah, Linda. Every time I just like it's the hair.
Yeah.
um, that the two of them got together because of Bach being completely like obsessed about Galinda. And then that's when you also get Elphaba with the popular song because Galindo is like, come on, like you're gonna wear this black hat, you're gonna go to this ball with me, and that's where we get to see this black hat come into play.
Mm.
Elphaba goes to the dance and she gets to um,
Oof.
and when she gets there, right before she gets there, the professor comes to Galinda and was like, "Hey, man, I need to talk to you real quick. Here's a wand. This is your trainer's wand, and realize it has nothing to do with me. I don't think you're worth a piece of poop, but it's your roommate that got you into this position, so you need to thank her." And then Galinda's like, "Oh my God, I fucked up because." Like she's about to come out with this hat and everyone's going to make fun of her. So she comes out in the hat, everyone's making fun of her.
Mm.
She starts doing her dance. Um, and then Belinda's like, "Man, this is fucked up. Like, why did I do this?" And then she starts doing her dance right back at her with the feet. And like everyone just is like, "Oh, yeah, this is now popular to do this. So now we're all doing it." Um, Then they get invited to the Emerald City. Elphaba at the last minute, it's like, "Come on, come with me." Like you just, and Glinda's like, "I couldn't possibly." Okay, yes, I will. But right before she gets onto the train, she goes from Galinda to Glinda in solidarity of the animals. I was like, okay. And then when we were in the Emerald City, you get the One Short Day, which is a very iconic song. And this is where we get to see Kristen Chenoweth and Dina Menzel
Mhm.
actually themselves, who were the original people that played Elphaba and Galinda, actually show up and they got to show their range. You got to still see them do their little combating things where like Glinda's like, it's all about me, and like, and Menzel is like, bitch, please,
Yeah,
like,
it's so funny.
yeah. So then we eventually get to the gate. They said like you're allowed to go see the wizard. And then they go in. You get to see Jeff Goldblum actually sing, which I thought was pretty cool.
It was
And
interesting.
he's sing. Oh, okay? We'll talk about that in a bit. Um, so he sings "Sentimental Man." We got to see them picking colors for the road, which we'll also talk about
Mm,
here in a bit. And then you get to see Elphaba actually read the Grimoire, and it makes the monkeys that were there as guards grow wings.
mm,
And Goldblum's character, who's the wizard's like, oh, this is perfect. These are our spies. And she's like, what are you talking about? This is like super fucked up. Like, how do I reverse it? Like, they're in pain.
mm,
And that's when Elphaba was like, "Oh my God, like this entire time you've been a fake. You can't read this thing. Everyone thinks that you can, but you can't." And then she bursts into the defying gravity because she's breaking free.
mm.
And then I have the to be continued uh, little segment that pops up right at the end of that.
Yes.
So,
And like
uh,
when that 2BT popped up, I was like, no.
yeah. Um, so, dude, like it was such a great honestly, like I loved it. It paid homage to everything that I've remembered from 10 years ago. And even after 10 years ago, after like I've been listening to it, I've been listening to the soundtrack
Uh-huh.
constantly. Like it's always on my Apple Music, like most played albums. It's always on there, whether I'm
Nice.
in the shower or I'm driving to work or I just need to just sing my heart out. Like Elphaba is my spirit animal. So that's what I do is I play the Defying Gravity popular, and then like here and there every like I'll play the other ones, um, that are that are really great. But something that I wanted to talk about with you real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how when we were going through different road colors, we had
Mhm.
blue, and then we had green, then we had yellow, and then we
Purple.
had purple.
Mhm.
So
Agatha.
I thought there were so many Agatha nods in this movie, and I think that they actually work together
Mhm.
because not only the Purple Road, but that figurine that the wizard gave
Was the same
Elphaba to look
figurine
at, it's
on
the
the
exact
shelf?
same figurine. Yes, it's the
Yes.
exact same figurine. And when Jeff Goldblum, who was the wizard, disappeared behind the set to go
Mhm.
dance with the moon and like
It's like
bounce it
when
off
Rio
each
went
other.
behind it when she cut it.
Yes,
Yes. Okay,
yes,
I picked up on all of that.
yes.
Yes. And I'm like, this movie, like, there was no they had to be in c talk. They
Yeah.
had to be somebody had to be
Yes.
communicating
Yes.
because there's no
Yes.
way someone could have seen this and then thrown in there because of how these when these were filmed. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, okay. Okay." Because that figurine was exact same. And when I
Yep.
seen the Purple Road, I was like,
It's Agatha's purple. That's the
it threw
exact
me off.
same color.
It threw
Oh,
me
it threw
off
you
because
off.
like, I no, I mean, like, no, it threw me off as in, like, I just did not expect to catch Agatha things in this. Because, like, don't get me wrong, like, there's pieces from Wizard of Oz and stuff, that we know has been, ins was intertwined in with,
Mhm.
Agatha, but,
Yeah.
yeah, this is new. This is new, and so, like, oh my god. Man, my sinuses are getting to me. But,
No, you're fine. So you didn't
oh,
like Jeff Goldblum's singing.
not really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I love Jeff Goldblum.
Mhm.
Jeff Goldblum's one of those guys, he almost kinda plays himself in every character, but he's funny. He's very funny.
Mhm.
I love hearing him talk because sometimes he'll go in circles on what he says, like, when he's off script especially,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Oh, I'm vegetarian, I'm vegetarian. I'm definitely will not eat meat, but I do love hot dogs." And, and that's just who he is in person, and, like, you see that when he's even on script, and he's just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I loved him in Marvel as, the Collector's brother. So, but,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was shocked at seeing that, and I'm so glad you seen it because. it was in my head. I'm like, nah, you're reaching, Blake. You're reaching. But
Nope.
so it's so good to hear that from you because like I did not know like you were going to say that.
I was like, oh man, I can't wait to do this episode with Blake because I know that he probably saw what I saw,
Oh
but I
yes.
just, I just also wanted to talk about it because like, so I went to go see it with my roommate, right? And we
Hmm.
talked about it directly after, we got out of the theater. We were in the truck. She drove me there, and
Hmm.
we were coming back to the house, and I just looked at her and I was like, "Did you not like remember Agatha when this thing happened and when this?" And I was just like saying all these things, and she's like, "Oh man, I never really thought about that." And I was like, "Damn." So when they uh it's just like it, it's the purple. It's the purple. It's the
Yeah.
right color of the
Oh, it was
purple.
a perfect color purple.
It was the perfect purple.
Yeah.
Perfect purple. Yeah. So I was so happy with that. When they were talking, when they were writing their letters to their dearest momsicle and popsicle,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Dear Dad." There's been some confusion over here at rooming at Shiz, but of course I'll rise above it.
Yeah.
But of course I'll care for Nessa. Like, yes, right? And then like they say
What?
like for
Uh,
my roommate is, and then
yes.
like Ariana Grande is like unusually,
Yeah.
and then like
It,
it goes into her little thing,
I
and
love
then
it.
all Elphaba says is blonde, but right
Blonde.
before that happened, I knew what was happening because it's the same exact words. It's the same words that are
Uh,
for all like the song. It's very accurate. I'm telling you, it's very accurate to the Broadway. So right before it happened, I looked at my roommate who is blonde, and I looked at
uh.
her and I said, "Blonde."
So me not
At the
knowing
same
like
time,
any of these, I have nothing to base this off of, right? And
right?
so like I died laughing when she said the blonde thing. Like that was just hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, a
Um.
lot of like, so the theater was very much in it. We were all like
Uh.
laughing and like very much in it. When people say that like they talk during movies, like you have those ad libs.
Hmm.
This is definitely one of those ones that people had ad libs for. Like, oh, so like when you got to see the original person that played Glinda,
Hmm.
Chenoweth, right? She like put her mouth or like her hand over
Uh,
Ariana Grande's mouth
yeah.
before like she was gonna hit the note because she was like, "No, this is my scene," and then like does her little like trill thing. I was like, "Oh my God!"
And see
But
what
it
I
was
know
like,
her from is I know her from Glee because like they
yeah, she was in Glee.
her and Adina both I think appeared in Glee, but she had a pretty big role
Yeah,
in Glee,
yeah.
and I think they actually sang "Defying Gravity" in Glee.
I'm pretty sure that they did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, like,
Um.
when I seen her, me not knowing who the original like, I knew about, the other one, but, like, I didn't know she was the OG one. And so then, like,
Oh,
pieces started
the
connecting,
yeah.
and I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, okay, okay."
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was so good to see them still be able to sing that stuff. And then when they came off the stage, they went to their respective characters
Mhm.
and like like kind of just like was like, "Yep, you're doing the things, like appreciate what you're doing." And then like
Right.
walked off and then that was it. That was like all that you saw them with. But when you got to see Menzel like go and actually like greet Elphaba, and when you saw Chenoweth actually go and meet Grande Galinda, um, and kind of just be like, "Yep, this like we're passing the baton off to you." That was such an
Mhm.
emotional moment for
Yeah.
me, um, because of like what that meant.
Sure.
Um, it's such a good movie.
So,
Um,
like, one of the things to me, like, I thought was so, like, I grew up watching Wizard of Oz was, like, a huge movie growing up. It's one of my
yeah.
mom's favorite, so we watched it a lot, and, like, I do love it. Like, I mean, I can appreciate the artistry in it and stuff, and,
Hmm.
then also, I mean, Wizard of Oz really set the staple in a lot of things, and still does to this day, on how, film is made and strategy, and then just there's so much of film that's based off Wizard of Oz to this day, or it's self inspired,
Yeah.
and so like I did at least have that part, but so, like, I don't think there was as many emotional moments, me not being able to see the Broadway, but I tell you what, not knowing anything about the Broadway, it's an emotional powerhouse. This movie is
Mhm.
such an emotional powerhouse.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, at the beginning, like, when they're singing about the Wicked Witch is dead,
Yeah.
like so, like, as a kid growing up, you watch Wizard of Oz, and you're like, "Oh, she's melted," and
Hell yeah.
they're singing, "The Wicked Witch is dead," and you're like, "Yeah!" Like it was just crazy. I didn't expect some of the emotions that this movie brought out of me because, like,
Yeah.
when I was watching, I'm like, "This is kinda cringe." Not cringe what they're doing, but it's
Yeah.
cringe that they're singing
Singing.
about her death
Yeah.
and, like, they're so big, and then it was kinda cringe watching Ariana Grande's, Galinda, um, like, you see, like, she was all about it. She's went through the flame one, but then you would see these slight glimmers in her eye of, like, oh, man, and, like, I'm not an Ariana Grande fan, but,
Yeah.
like, she did really good in this.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
the
yeah.
the acting,
N
the
yeah.
small facial features, and just it was good, and, like, when it immediately started like this, I was like, "Oh my god, I think this movie's gonna be better than I expected," just immediately right off the bat because they immediately just coming from Wizard of Oz, they immediately make you feel differently than what you felt from that movie of knowing the
Yep.
same thing. And I was
And
like,
that's
"Whoo,
exactly what
it's heavy. It's so heavy."
this Broadway is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the actual backstory. You know how there's always two sides to a
Right,
story.
right.
That's exactly how this is supposed to make you feel. It's supposed to make you question, like, oh shit, like this entire
Mhm,
time I thought she was the bad guy. And when right before like Elphaba like runs away and starts defying gravity, right? And doing that
mhm.
whole thing. Um, do you remember what the wizard had said, like right before like she left?
Remind me.
Okay. No, it's fine. That's why I was just
Yeah.
like, "Do you
Uh,
remember?"
no,
No,
no, no,
that's
no,
okay.
no. Yeah, no.
Um, so he had said that like we're all looking for like a common enemy. We need a common
Oh,
enemy, and they
yeah.
always thought
Mhm.
it was going to be the animals, but
Right.
because she stole the grimoire
Mhm.
and because she wasn't willing to fall in line and just be that monkey, if you will, right?
Right.
To like follow whatever direction that they had said. They're like, she's our villain. And then as soon as they saw that Elphaba like pretty much jumped off the side, got on her broom, and like had the beautiful cape work
Yeah.
happen, then that's when they realized that Glinda was she knew too much, but they needed a hero to the
Right.
story. And if anyone's going to play that hero, it's going to be her.
Yeah.
And then that way she meets those wickets of like she's getting the attention she so deserves and gets the magic and the training that she wants, but at the
Mhm.
same time like she's not going to run and tell everybody like what actually happened.
Yeah, and I would have to say, like, knowing, Wizard of Oz, you see Glinda's a good witch, and then, like,
Mhm.
you all of a sudden start off, you like, see how self-centered she is in this. I'm like, "God!" Like, there's so much more layers to this, like, that nobody knows. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, oh, man. But, yeah, it is so good. Visually too, like, the way it was filmed. Uh,
Yes.
the certain angles, and I really liked how, like, when they were in the room that they shared, how they kinda, like,
Mhm.
spun the camera around and how they really filmed that. I thought that was really, really well done and really,
Yeah.
really good, and visually, like, I really feel like this is gonna win so many different awards. Costume, I mean, set designs, like, everything, like, it's legit amazing. And then,
Yeah.
like, when she's, like, also singing, she's talking about, she's spinning that glass around, she's talking about "Decolorify me," and, like, for a split second when it's spinning, it really does kinda decolorify her, and, like,
Yeah.
the artistry in this was so beautiful, so beautiful. Like,
Wouldn't it be great if I degreenify you?
degreenify, yeah, not decolorify, degreenify, yeah,
I
and,
got
like
you. No, I'm
and
telling you, I've listened to this so many
yeah, yeah,
times.
and yeah, I was so, like, musicals, like, I don't hate musicals, like, I'm actually one of those that's 50-50 with musicals, so, like, it takes certain musicals there's some musicals I just don't care for, it's just not my taste, but then
Mm,
I do love, like, in my taste, a good musical, but to me, it has to be, like, really good storytelling, has to have good balance, and this may not be what true musical is, but a true balance of, like, dialogue and music.
mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
like it to be all music, and I don't want it to be too much dialogue either,
Yeah.
um so, like
Like this definitely made you forget at some points that it was a musical until they randomly started singing again. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I was
yeah,
watching a musical."
and I'm not gonna lie, I actually like the balance of dialogue and music in this. Like, to me, it was
Yeah.
that perfect balance, just like The Greatest Showman. One of my all-time favorite movies is it has that perfect balance of both. And so I really
Yeah.
was super happy because like I've been trying to actually see this the theater show of it for a while, and it's just never played out to where we could. And I was really nervous not knowing anything about it going into watching it. And I'm like, man, I hope I don't get in here for like 3 hours and end up hating this and I'm bored. But, like,
Mm.
it was complete opposite. So complete opposite.
So when they got into the Emerald City, all I could think about was, oh my God, this would be so cool if they made this into a theme park. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because I would
Well,
go in a heartbeat.
yeah, well, you don't I think I've told you about it, but, like, there's a dilapidated, condemned, Wizard of Oz theme park that's grown up that someone attempted to do years and years ago, I think from the in the late '80s or early '90s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like, with this coming out, I think if someone was ever to try to redo that idea, I think it would go over so well. So
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Um, I think that they could do just so much with it. It kind of
Mhm.
reminds you of like Disney, where when you go into Disney park, you always have that like hair salon place. Like
Mhm.
you could also do that here. There's different like foods and stuff that you could do, and
Oh, yeah.
just it was so beautifully done that I was just like I was immediately thinking of everything that I could possibly want. Like I so when I went to go see the Broadway 10 years
Mhm.
ago, right, I got a luggage tag that you got to see while we were in Vegas.
Yep,
And
yep.
I was like, this is my Wicked luggage tag, and it's been through hell.
You can
So I
tell.
can't wait to get another one. I know. Well, I travel
No,
and
right, right.
but I like this is me. This is like
Yeah.
my suitcase. Like the suitcase has a giant silver star on the front, and that's for David Bowie's Black
Mm.
album, the last album that he ever released. So it has that, and then right on the top has a Wicked luggage tag on it. So I got the glass now. So super excited about that. But now I need like I was so ready to get in there into the Regal and be like, okay, so they were gonna have a popcorn bucket. There was no popcorn buckets. I deliberately asked. Um, and I also was like, okay, well maybe they'll have like a little shop
Mhm.
and they'll have stuff in there. No,
No?
they didn't have anything. They didn't have
Ooh.
anything. And I was so sad because I was like, I didn't bring a sweatshirt because I was trying to like look all cute. And then I got into the theater and I was like, oh, I'm cold. I wish I had a sweatshirt. And as soon as I got to the casino, because the movie theater was inside of a casino,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, well, as soon as we get there, like they're gonna have like their merch, so I'm gonna grab a jacket. And I got there and there was no jackets, and I was sad.
Oh, no. Oh,
But
no.
I know that I'm gonna go out of my way now, and like I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of
Oh,
merch to
yeah.
find. And I can't wait to get something like a
Mm.
shirt or a sweatshirt or I don't know, maybe even a half pink, half green dress, like
What
that I'll wear to San Diego Comic Con. We'll see.
Hey, one thing I did love and, like, immediately like, I'm talking about, like, 20 minutes into the movie, maybe 30 minutes into the movie, immediately a part of this movie made me think of me and you. And it was like they were just making up their own isms, right? Their own words.
Oh
And
yeah.
then so, like, immediately I thought about, like I can't remember what the word was a while back, but you like, made up your own word. We're like, "That's not a word." We're like, "Let's
For
just
a
go with it."
trilogy, a
Yeah,
trequel.
a treacle, and then I'm like,
It was a
theory eyes, like, that's not even a word either. I'm like immediately I'm like, "Oh, I love this." Like, this is me and Tay making up words that sound cool and make sense to us, but they're not really words.
but the everybody who hears them knows what you're trying to say,
Right,
and they're
right,
like,
yeah.
okay, cool. Uh, so
So I
yeah,
I I really love that.
I can't wait for part two to come out because
Mm,
um, my roommate and I were talking about like all the things that
uh-huh.
she has questions about, and I was like, I can't tell you
So
because like
so
you don't want to know.
There is so one cool fact about this is like when they're doing the dancing through life scene.
Mhm.
So there were some scenes that were like so dangerous. They literally brought in parkour people to actually do those scenes, and they would not allow the dancers to do them because they were too dangerous and taking a chance to get hurt. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. And I don't know, the choreography, but then the emotions was it's all so good. But I will be
Yeah.
honest with you, there was one part that straight up, like, I started welling up. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And then, like, it got to
What?
me, like, it was when, she got her wand and then they went to do the dance, and she, like, finally stepped in to, when everybody started making fun of her. And then
Yeah.
what's crazy is I did soon as, like, I felt the tears start to well up in my eyes, immediately it showed the tear coming down, her face.
Elphaba's face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elphaba's face, and I was like, "Oh," and then it hit even harder, and then boom, tear rolled down my cheek. I was like, "Woo."
Aww.
I was like, "This is so good," because, like, I'm one of those people, like, I don't get overly emotional in movies, but
Hmm.
I love when I can watch a movie that will bring the emotions out in me, because
Yeah.
it's just, to me, that puts that movie in a tier above all other movies when they can actually make you feel something that even if you can relate, but even more so if you can't relate, but they
Yeah.
make you feel that emotion because of what you're watching. That
Yeah.
is delivery that is rare, and I
So
love I
yeah.
love when a movie can do that, and it straight did that for me. Like, oh my
So,
god.
so another one of those moments for me. I mean, like I had already known all of these moments were coming, right? So
Uh-huh.
I didn't tear up myself. I did get like I was very vocal in the
Mhm.
theater, and I will admit that. Um, but the one time when they were singing the popular song, like I'm gonna make you
Mhm.
popular, and then like Galinda, because she was still Galinda
Right.
at the time.
Yeah, Linda.
She's Galinda, Ga, and she's like, no, it's Galinda.
Mhm.
Galinda. Anyway, so when she sat Elphaba down in front of the mirror and was just like, "Look, you're beautiful."
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I was like, "Oh man, this is so emotional," because Elphaba had never heard at that point in time, like in her life, that she's been
Those words.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's always been the outcast of like she has her three things that she always says. No, I'm not seasick.
Yeah.
No, I didn't eat grass when I was younger, and I can't remember what the last one was. Um, but when like Fiero kind
Hey,
of was
yes,
just
I've been
like,
green my
"You,"
whole life.
oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's the 3rd
Um,
one.
it might have been, I don't know, it might have been the second one, or might have, I don't know. Anyway, there's three things that she always said, and she had
Mhm.
her spiel that she always had. Kind of
Right.
like when I meet people, I'm like, yes, I am this aggressive, but like understand that it's not because it's not because of you or something that you've done. It's just because that's who I am.
Right.
And like her saying that kind of reminds me that about myself is that like I
Mhm.
have my own spiel that I have. But when she gets to see that like popular scene, like she's like, oh, I gotta go. Like I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so she like runs away or whatever, and then she bumps into Fiero, and Fiero's like, "Do you ever let anybody else talk?" And I was just like, attacked. But yeah, I think so. Like when we were sitting, like I went to eat brunch before I went to go see the movie. So we were sitting there, and Kristen, she had asked me like, "Hey, what do you think of like Ariana Grande?" And I was like, "Say what you will about Ariana Grande,
Mhm.
but based off of the character she's going to be playing, it's a perfect fit.
Hmm.
Perfect fit. Like she already has that aura
Right.
about her, and that's how kind of everybody sees her.
She
So
nailed it.
the fact that she was playing that role, I was like, no, she's gonna be absolutely perfect for that role. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
really have to act right much in my mind because like she was in Injustice, and that's kind of always been who she's been, is this like very prim and proper and
Uh-huh.
elegant type of female, and then you have people like me that's like, "Meh." I'm not like that at all.
Mer.
Yeah. So like I thought that she was definitely the perfect fit for
Mm,
Glinda, and a lot of people got upset because they released the soundtrack ahead of this movie, and if you
mm.
actually looked at the soundtrack, it told you that Chenoweth and Menzel were both going to be in it because it
Ah,
has them as
right.
singing roles
Yeah.
for One Short Day. But I think at the same time that like they did it well. Like if you didn't look
Mhm.
for spoilers, you didn't get them.
I really enjoyed this. I did, and like I know they actually filmed this movie back to back too, part one, part two. I mean, immediately, simultaneously, and so like the next one I believe is coming out in November of next year as well. But man, I don't want to wait. Like I'm so ready. Like
All
it
right, so what do you
truly.
want to know?
I do want to know where the rest of the story goes. How it plays out.
Okay, so the rest of the story, you get to find out who Elphaba's dad is.
I was hoping we would.
Um,
I was so hoping we would because
you
like
get
this
to
is super
see
mysterious.
you get to see that. Galinda does get engaged, but Fiero doesn't end up marrying her.
Question:
Uh,
Is
yes.
is the Elphaba's dad the wizard?
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm so good.
Well, because so if you think about it with the sentimental man, right? He always said
Mhm,
that he always wanted a son, and then he looked at her or daughter, right? So
mhm.
you have the little cues. Um,
I didn't
so
pick up
I
on
don't.
that, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
So the reason why he came to Oz is he came on
Uh,
that balloon, right? That balloon that
right.
you saw her
Yeah,
try to escape from. That's and you got to hear that in the one short day, right?
right.
And you also get to see what's another instance of it? Oh, you get to see kind of like his background of like why he came to Oz and
Mhm,
why people think that he is this magnificent wizard. Because what does he do as soon as like he sees Elphaba?
right.
He pulls the coin from behind her ear.
Yeah,
He has
yeah,
his little tap dance thing.
yeah.
You got to see the poster of the majestic with the lion or whatever.
Mhm.
These are all hints as to what is to come.
Gotcha, okay. Alright, and I heard that, like, the second part of the musical is shorter than the first, so
Hmm.
the second part, there's a good chance it could not be as long as this one was as well.
Okay. I
Uh
mean, it's probably only like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
I bet they probably make this one about 2 hours, the second part, if I
Okay.
had to guess.
Yeah.
I yeah, for someone that's never seen the musical though, I am super
Oh, you
pleased and
also get
happy.
to see how the Tin Man, Scarecrow, and I think Lion get
Oh,
to
really?
be. Hmm?
Oh, shit, okay, okay.
You
So,
get
fun
to see
fact,
who they actually are.
actually, back when I was 19, for a company, I actually helped made a parade float of, as Wizard of Oz theme. So, like, on the trailer, we made a whole bunch of hand poppies from tissue paper, right? We did a yellow brick road going down the middle of the trailer. On each side of the yellow brick road, we did poppy fields, and then I took, like, giant 4 by 8 sheets of, like, inch and a half foam, and I cut out 3D replica of Emerald City, painted it all up, and
Yeah.
then we all dressed as, the characters of Wizard of Oz. I was a scarecrow, and, literally passed out candy and stuff, but it was all 100% Wizard of Oz team, so
You're gonna like who Scarecrow is.
what, you already know who's cast as him?
No, I mean, like, so the characters that you already have kind of seen now are the characters that you will get to see
That become
be
them?
as, yeah, yep. You get to
Really?
see the the shoes and why they're important because
So I
Wizard
did
of
catch a
Oz.
glimpse, like, was there a little play on the red shoes when they were going through the shoes and you see the red one and then she throws it
Yeah,
to the side? I was like, I feel
yeah,
like that's some kinda callback to the shoes that Dorothy had.
yeah. So I think that was a callback specifically to those shoes, but I don't think that those are the shoes that they're going to
Gotcha,
have.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because at the beginning you got to see the dad pass off the shoes that the mother had that
Mhm.
right by the bedside as she was giving birth. You got to see those shoes. Those shoes are very iconic for
Yeah,
Wicked in this one, right? So I think that those are going to be the shoes that are going to be the ones that Dorothy sees rather than the red slippers.
gotcha.
So I think they're just going to kind of play on it a little bit.
I don't know. I'm so glad I loved it though. I'm it's so good. Like I said, probably about a week from now I'll go see it again. Probably take my sister. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I already have a girls' day plan to go and watch it again. Because
Nice.
I love Wicked, and I'm so glad that it's finally out for other people to see.
Mhm.
The people that haven't been able to go to Broadway or even just like their own people, local places that put it off, or when people
Right.
go on tour and do it. Um, it's a very short like time and you have to literally like seek it out and if you didn't know you didn't know and now you're able to just go see it anywhere in theaters
Right.
and the homages that they had to it is absolutely beautiful.
It's so great to hear, like, people who are huge fans of the musical, like, it be so well received and loved. Just to hear that, it makes you even feel that much more better, like, they did it right.
Yeah.
Uh, but, another thing is oh, I forgot where I was going with that. I don't know. Wow. Ha! Anyways, yeah,
10 out of 10 recommend. I give
yeah.
it 10
So
gold
oh,
stars.
I know what I was saying. I'm really shocked that this is just now made into a film. Like, I'm shocked this
Talking
film has
about it for years,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
they have
just
been,
such a
but
big
I'm shocked
production.
it's just now happening, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a musical for a very long time, but you have to think about the amount of work that it puts in and the people that you have to impress and everything,
Mhm.
the people that know what Wicked is, like
Sure,
if this wasn't done right, like would they have cared? Would it have been so
right.
well received?
True.
Like, cause like Cats and a bunch of other musicals are still out there. Like there's
Mhm.
a Cinderella musical that's on Broadway that people haven't seen because like it's not wildly out,
Right.
right? So
I
I
think
think
they
that
did do the movie Cats from the musical, but I don't think it was well received.
oh,
Because
see, there you
because
go.
James Corden is in it. When is the carpool karaoke?
Okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. But I think that we are now in the era of like we were in the animation to live action
Mhm.
era, but I think we're in the era now where we are going to start seeing more musicals that were Broadway's come into being actual movies.
Sure.
So we got to see like Hamilton, right?
Right.
And we're starting to just kind of grow on that like Hollywood and the society as itself is like kind of more accepting of theater, right?
Mhm. Right.
So I think it's something that's great and it's beautiful that it's finally taking place. Um, yeah, I can't wait to see if we get more Agatha nods in part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. I'm super definitely even gonna be I'm actually gonna be looking for it now instead of it just popping up and I realize it. I'm gonna be definitely looking for that.
I want one of those figurines now because I know that they're gonna have them.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm
But
so
yeah,
ready. Alright,
yeah,
well, I think that, wraps us up for this, special episode of Breaking Down Wicked.
yeah. Bye.